be high, rising, rise. Bring it on.
Stay ahead of the curve and get updates on the latest trends in politics, government, policies, education, economy, social development, amongst others.
We are happy to announce today that both the federal government and the organized labor have agreed on an increase on the 62,000 naira minimum wage.
Join
AYODEJI, AJISOPE,
and
LAFFY
on from the dailies every weekday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Solutions 93.9 FM as they dive into the headlines with in-depth analysis and feedback from you on different stories from the national dailies. Start your day by gaining fresh perspectives, uncovering the story behind the story, and join the conversation. Because your voice matters. From the dailies, the conversation never stops.
It's the 4th day in the month of November 2024. A beautiful Monday morning in a big and beautiful city of Ibadan. I welcome you to From the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. This is a program where we get to take you through the trending stories in some of today's national dailies. And I have comrade AYODEJI, AJISOPE, live in the studio with me this morning. A beautiful morning to you, comrade AYODEJI.
Yeah, it's another Monday morning, and we give thanks to God the Almighty.
I really hope you had a restful weekend.
I can tell you that.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Reloaded.
Reloaded. I like the word reloaded. Yeah. All right, talking about reloading, we have about four newspapers to talk about this morning, to review this morning. I have the Vanguard, I have the Guardian newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune, and of course the Punch newspaper. Okay, and looking at the first newspaper I have with me this morning, that is the Nigerian Tribune. And the biggest story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning says, reforms, what I would have done differently. Atiku, Nigerians rejected your ideas in 2023 presidency. I would like to call that a trade of words between the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the presidency. Now, he's saying that what he would have done differently if he was the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You find that story on pages 28 and 29 of the Nigerian Tribune. Okay, I have another one here. Alt trial of minors, release, compensate detainees. ACF tells FG. And Rider Human Rights Commission condemns arraignment of minors. Away from that story, cost of goods may rise as banks system migration cripples cargo clearance at seaport. Okay, away from that, are petrol cheaper than imported ones? Dangote.
It's not going away. That story is not going
That
away.
story is not going
It's
anywhere.
Getting messier.
It's getting messier. Kes, please, I will need your attention around. Okay, and I have this one too. How U.S. presidential election may be decided. I mean, the Americans will be doing a landmark event, exercising a franchise tomorrow, then November 5, to elect a new president.
The democracy, the way they operate elections, we claim to have borrowed the presidential system. We only borrowed the imperial presidency. We did not borrow the.
I mean, over the past few weeks or so, I've been following the debate, and when you see the two of them debate, talking about Kamala Harris, the Democrat candidate, and the Republican candidate, Donald Trump, I mean, you begin to. There's a clear difference in the type of debate, presidential debate we get here in Nigeria. I mean, the conversations between. I mean, when they say they're having a presidential debate among the.
We have our own debates too.
But I mean, you will see robust issues, concrete issues. The level of intelligence, the intelligence they have.
Honestly, I don't want to ascribe too much intelligence to the American electorate. That's a cold-blooded fact. But you could call it level of socialization.
Okay.
Some people, the electorate will decide. These are the issues that are important to me.
We'll definitely talk about it.
For us, the issues that are important to us is a Muslim ticket. He's from the north. He's from the south. I mean, you know, that tells us the level of socialization.
The level of socialization. I think I like that choice of word. Now, presidency, Atiku Tango over economy, how we would have managed Nigeria's problems. Atiku.
It is easy to do the talking. Did you read the entire thing?
And he actually got a response. You would have done worse. Presidency. Okay, still trade of words there. End bad governance protest. ACF, NHRC, CISLAC, SERAP, other slams police over trial of minors. And without pay, normalcy returns to universities as workers suspend strike. Those are
the ground for suspension?
We'll talk about that too. That's the account of the Nigerian Tribune. Looking at the Punch newspaper now, end bad governance. Northern governors, ACF, others demand minors release. And North must wake up. Bala Mohammed charges region. SANs differ on arraigned minors. Okay, we should talk about the arraignment of minors at the court on Friday. I mean, some Nigerians have really come out to say that those children, which I like to call them children, are too young to be subjected to that kind of a treatment. I mean, I don't know whether you saw the clip, but I think I would like to show the clip to our viewers on Facebook now. These are the children that were arraigned in court on Friday. These are the supposed arrested. They
were arrested. They are not supposed.
Okay, let me say the arrested and bad governance. And these kids were arrested since August 2. Since the 2nd of August, they've been in police detention. So now you can see them at the court looking so malnourished. And it was even reported that about.
If you go to prisons, at this one, they are not malnourished. If you go to prison,
they were held in Kuje. They were held in prisons.
If you go to prison, I go to prison regularly. These ones are not malnourished.
I mean, they are.
I visit prisons at least twice a month.
About four of them. About four of them are even collapsed within the court premises. Let's take a listen at them.
It was stage managed. Actually, the IG said it was stage managed.
Okay, let's take a listen at one of the lawyers, that is Deji Adeyanju, what they had to say at the court premises on Friday.
You see, basically, our own is very simple. Why should children? Why should small children? Why should they spend 93 days in police custody when they should be in school? And the government can arrest 10, 12, 13-year-old and keep them in custody for 93 days. But the government has not been able to arrest Yabelo 6 months after. Is it not a parody of some sort that we have two separate countries? One country for the rich, one country for the poor. Our laws are very clear. It's 48 hours. The police are in breach of the fundamental rights of these children. So we are not going to delve into the substance of the issue, which is already before the court, so that we will not make remarks that are subjudice. But what we are saying, very simple. Yaya Bello, 6 months later, has not been arrested. When you arrest our children, you keep them in custody for 93 days. These children, they are already looking like they have kwashiorkor. They are malnourished. You understand? Then you cannot keep them in custody for this long. This is the reasons why our rating in the Human Rights Index is poor, is bad. You understand? The Tinubu government should discontinue the charge. We make a passionate appeal to the AGF, you know, Baba Latif Fagbemi, that he should discontinue the charge. He should take over the matter and discontinue against these children, so that the children can return back to school. And the Attorney General of the Federation has the inherent powers to take over this matter under Section 174 of the Constitution. That Baba Latif Fagbemi should take over this matter and discontinue the charge against the children. I cried in open court because of this grave injustice that has been done to these kids.
Talk, you die. If you don't talk, you die. So we'll talk and die. While we were in court this morning, and shortly before the plea of the defendants, mainly underage children could be taken. Some of them who were looking quite malnourished, who were looking quite very sick, started slumping in court before the Honorable Justice Egwuatu. Justice Egwuatu, upon seeing the fainting of these young persons of school age, had to had to stand down proceedings abruptly. We had to rush some of these young children to the clinic within the facility of the court for them to be resuscitated. Some of them are still receiving treatment as I speak to you in the clinic. This young person has been arrested since the 2nd day of August, 2024. Over 3 months, they've been left without clothing, without housing, without proper care. They are looking very malnourished, as you can see the videos that are flying around social media. They were kept at the Kuje Correctional Center and at the IRT, the notorious IRT at SAS Abattoir. IRT now, that is where they are. At SAS Abattoir. Now, this is the facility that has held our young children who should be in school that have been kept by this government over allegations of attempting to overthrow the president. The question now comes to, how can a 12, 13, 14-year-old boy who is looking very frail and malnourished attempt to overthrow the president? That is a matter for another day.
Now, those are the voices of the lawyers defending the arrested minors at the court. Now, comrade, you saw the video, the clip of this kids arraigned in court. What do you make out of that?
You see, when that thing started and we saw the whole drama unfolding, I knew there would be consequences. And you know, look at those children. For me, the Yoruba said they will leave leprosy and they will be treating scabies. This is what the lawyers are doing. Look, there are underlying factors. This is only symptomatic of the social malaise in the north. Are you going to see this kind of children demonstrating in Lagos? Are you going to see this kind of people demonstrating in Ibadan or Akure? You're not going to see them. This is symptomatic of an underlying factor, the social malaise of Almajiri in the northern parts of Nigeria. So, beyond, that is not to say that keeping them in custody for 93 days.
I mean, keeping them
is acceptable. It is unacceptable. I listened to the NBAC governance guy, Juwon, that called out, and of course he said, you people, you called out people to demonstrate. these people are demonstrated based on your calls. Now, what actions have you taken? 93 days.
93 days.
If it were other people, they would have gone to court to file enforcement of fundamental rights.
But interestingly, many groups, human rights activists, and they've come up to say that these kids or these arrested individuals are minors. But one of the head of the team, the prosecuting team from the police, he came out. He granted an interview and said those people we saw on the clip are not minors; they are adults.
That is.
Let's take a listen at what he had to say. One of the lawyers,
except for probably a couple of them, like this one with Musa. I mean, except for a couple
okay.
of
Let's take a listen and relate it to the clips of the kids we are seeing in the video now.
These boys that we brought to the court today, all of them are adults. Most of them are married men. None of them is a minor. Some of them are university graduates. The small kids you are seeing here, they came with some of their parents to come and greet their loved ones. They are not even the real suspects standing trial in this case. These boys were arrested in Kaduna and Zaria. Imagine the level we find ourselves now. Do you know how much it costs us to be at this level of the democracy in this country? These young boys are trying to destabilize Nigeria using the Russian flags and other countries, calling on the military to remove our president. Is it fair to even remove the state governors that they don't want democracy again? If you don't like democracy, are we forcing you?
That's the offense of these kids. What do you make out of that?
I'm not a legal practitioner. The hoopla has been about the fact that they are minors. But I've had lawyers speak.
But why would this man come out and say these are? He even addressed some of them as married men. How would you say this? It's a thing of that. You can see that this. I'm saying 13-year. I'm saying 13-year-old. I'm a father too.
I have also seen, even if limited in numbers, some of them that are adults, grown-ups, not 15 or 20.
I haven't seen any grown-up here. I'm seeing kids within the age range of 10 to about 15, 16.
If we watch this thing, I will point to you. At least I saw one person.
Okay.
That I'm sure must be that guy in blue. That guy in blue. That one.
That one coming forward. Okay.
This is the minor.
Okay. But apart from him, look at those around him.
There is one. There were 112 of them are arraigned. So have adults amongst them. I've had lawyers. One of the headlines you read out says, senior advocates, senior lawyers disagree about the fact that whether they could be prosecuted or not in the face of the charge against them. You understand? I am not a lawyer. I'm not a legal practitioner. I had a lawyer speak on Saturday morning. I was actually surprised. And the man said, and he's been our guest here on a couple of, of course, it's somebody you know. And he said that in the face of the law, what transpired while they were demonstrating, carrying Russian flags and asking for
military
to take over, in that regard, they will not be considered as minors. That is what he said.
Okay.
But I've had lawyers quote Human Rights, Child Rights Act and all of that. You understand? Aha. So for me, until and of course unless the courts decide, everybody will go before the judges or the judge.
You know, my concern is whatever the case they were being arrested for, should they be subjected to this malnourishment, to the fact that some of them are collapsing at the court premises, no matter the offense?
The police said the thing was stage managed. That is one side. You see, when you say these children are malnourished, they have been in police custody. Look, I go to prisons regularly. That's an assignment that takes you to the prison. If you go to the prisons, you will know that these ones are not malnourished. Though. They spend 90 something days in prison.
93 days.
93 days in prison. The one they call correctional facilities. There's nothing correctional about those facilities. So I go there regularly. These ones, they spend 93 days and they're still looking like this. Look, one man, he's a popular man. He had been pilfering, and he said in prison he saw people, human beings with tails. Do human beings ordinarily have tails? Tails. And what will make a human being look like he has tails? When he gets so malnourished and
that the end of the vertebral bone.
So you know, they should. I think they were taken care of.
These ones are taken care of.
I know Nigerian correctional facilities. This was. Hey.
So these ones are still looking a bit more robust than what they should look like.
The correctional facility. If you see them.
So what is correctional about these facilities then? If one is being put there to be corrected, and you're turning into this.
It is just a change in name.
Come on, let's move to other stories.
This is what I call the content and container theory.
Okay, all right. It's 8 minutes to 10 on Solutions 93.9 FM. Still on From the Dailies, talking about the trending stories in the papers this morning. And another trending story is about Abubakar Atiku saying that what he would have done differently if he was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, automatically telling Tinubu government that the government is not doing enough. And one of the things he said is that he will have proposed $10 billion stimulus for SMEs and he will have implemented a phased subsidy removal. He wouldn't have removed subsidy just like that. He will have done it in phases. And he said he will have done currency reform. What do you make out of this? Though he got an apt response from the presidency. Yeah. I call it hard because the presidency said Nigerians rejected your ideas in 2023 because these are some of the campaign promises he gave, but Nigerians rejected him, according to the presidency.
Well, I read and reread that story, well crafted, very well crafted, beautiful language, appealing to the mind when you read it. But we know the records of Atiku in terms of managing public enterprise. It's on record that many public enterprises under the privatization scheme, which he headed and managed, was simply given away to cronies, allegedly given away to cronies, and so people were afraid. I remember that people were worried and afraid that under an article,
things will be worse.
A rape, a gang raping of whatever was left of the carcass that. So all these beautiful. It's easy to, but at least one good thing I've seen about Atiku, and that means we should watch out for Atiku in 2027. Atiku is not going away, and it's providing some, I can't call it viable position.
Now, talking about criticizing the government in power, it is not only Atiku. Our own governor in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde too, had something to say concerning the presidency. One of the things he said was that Tinubu's economic reforms aimed at averting Nigeria's path to Venezuela. We all know what happened to Venezuela.
He said what?
He said Tinubu's economic reforms are aimed towards Nigeria's path to Venezuela.
That it is leading us there.
Leading us to Venezuela with the case of Venezuela.
You know, it has a presidential, an undeclared presidential ambition, and of course, how else do you?
Oh, you feel our governor has a non-declared presidential ambition?
It is a known secret in Ibadan.
A known secret. But I think he addressed it. He addressed it over the weekend.
Newspaper headline today that Atiku, Makinde, and Bala Mohammed's presidential ambition is further tearing the party. It's even in the newspaper, so that one is no longer a secret.
Now let's listen to Governor Seyi Makinde in this clip.
If you're accusing the ruling party that they are the ones putting their hands into all other parties to ensure that they don't get their acts together so that there will be no opposition in 2027. My own position is there are certain things that you have under your own control. Whether me and Governor Adeleke will cooperate for the growth and benefit of our party in the southwest states, it is beyond the ruling party. It is between me and Governor Adeleke. So please, let us all work together, unite our base. That is all that we need to do. The next election will be APC versus Nigerians. It is not even about APC versus PDP. So let us just do our own bit to unite our party, unite our base, and let the people of Nigeria, let them speak. They've done it in Oyo State. They've done it in Osun State. They will do it in Nigeria. So please don't fret. Don't even think external people have control over what will happen in our party. Yes, they may try. But it is only when we allow it. So I admonish PDP all over the country. The way to demonstrate this is when you know 1, 2, or 3 people in Ondo State, call them. Tell them PDP is united. Tell them Ondo State election coming up 2 weeks from now will give an indication where Nigeria will be in 2027. People have been complaining, they've been talking, they've been doing a lot of permutation. Let me say this again. Tí Seyi Makinde bá fẹ́ jáde fún anything, I will say it by myself. Nobody will set an agenda for me apart from myself.
Now, that's the Governor Seyi Makinde. They're addressing the speculations that probably he wants to run for president come 2027.
Yeah, before he said that, he addressed the issue
of the party crisis and the speculations that probably the ruling party has a hand in the crisis rocking majority of this opposition parties, talking about the Labour Party, which is in crisis at the moment, and of course the PDP too, and even the NNPP too.
You see,
all these opposition parties in crisis.
Me, when I listen to politicians, I listen to what they say, but I listen more to what they are leaving out unsaid. He was at the Southwest. I think Adagun. That is the man. Their secretary is named after Adagun, the party chairman that died. Now the man said, if what is going to happen in the Southwest PDP will be between him and Adeleke in terms of cooperation? Are they on the same page? At the airport, or maybe the laying of the foundation of the expansion of the airport, Adeleke was there. Damagun was there. Our governor made categorical statements about the party and about his position regarding the chairmanship of the party and that of Adeleke, affirming that he and Adeleke were on the same page and that Damagun was the party chairman. The following day, Adeleke CPS Rashid Olawale issued a statement that nothing could be further away from the truth. So politicians, they speak from both sides of the mouth. You see, there's what they call a convergence of interests. And then there's what they call overriding interests. You know, overriding interests will override individual and group interests. In party politics in Nigeria, is there anything that is referenced and reverenced as overriding interest of the party? It is always, what is the overriding interest is usually the individual interest. Even, you know, in Nigeria, the president is elevated to statehood. They equate the president as the state. They confuse people who occupy office as the office. So it is there's so much delusions going on, and it is when they leave office or they lose elections that they suddenly realize that they are naked without people. You understand? We have seen people after the military took over. I will never forget. I went with my father to Ondo, the wedding of the daughter of Bishop Aderi in Ondo Diocese. Obafemi Awolowo came. The service was on. I think they were about to administer the Holy Communion. When Obafemi Awolowo walked in, the reverence and thousands of, and of course I just graduated from university. Yes, I graduated from university. Now, Obafemi Awolowo came, to register his presence, and as soon as he took the Holy Communion with his wife, after some minutes, after the joining of the couple, he was departing. Of course, as a young man, I just got up. I was sitting there with my father. My father could not restrain him. I just got up and walked out of the church. It was only then that I discovered that there were thousands of people that had massed within the church and on the streets of Ondo. And what did Awolowo do? And no noise, no nothing. Awolowo went into his that stretch limousine. As soon as the car snipped out, of course the driver is familiar with the sequence of how you drive and all of that. As soon as the car drove out of the church, and did a few meters, people were walking. And then as the car gathered a little bit of momentum, people were jogging after the car. Awolowo just looked through that small, glass and lifted his hand in the victory sign. And the crowd, it was a reverberation from those who saw him. And the only response was a shout of Awu. And the whole thing just reverberated. Awu out of office since 19 what? Can those who purport to lead us now, can they claim such following? Ordinary people. How many years after Awolowo left office as Premier of Western Region? In 1984 to 1957 or so that he left. For God's sake.
All right. Still talking about what Governor Seyi Makinde, the criticism he's having concerning the government in power, saying that
he said they're leading us to Venezuela.
The reforms are not achieving the proposed result.
Now, I think the problem this administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has is that, and it is very strange.
And he got his own apt response too.
Oh, really?
Just like Atiku got. What he got from the presidency: stop reckless comments. Don't prioritize ambition over Oyo's needs.
You see, I think the one surprising, if not shocking thing that I've noticed about the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in terms of managing communication, I'm surprised. It was the machinery of Bola Ahmed Tinubu that was deployed for Buhari
To come into
that
power.
rebranded Buhari and made him look like what
A
he
reformed
was not.
Democrat. According to the
And you now imagine all these combat engagements that Bayo Onanuga is doing. You see, the psyche of Onanuga is rooted in the barricades of fighting the military. You are not fighting the military anymore. You are engaging your people. That psyche is rooted. Sunday Daretu has been drafted into. Go and get smooth, fluid guys that can engage without being combative. Get the message out. You need the buy-in of the people. We are leading you. People are saying Bole and you are saying Eshama Telimikalo.
And people are coming to say that these things are not visible. What you are saying that we Nigerians are not seeing, but there's always a response to anybody that comes out to say anything. I mean, look at what they said to the Atiku, that people rejected your ideas. These ideas, I think Atiku, to my own understanding, Atiku was trying to say that if I were the president, these are the things I would have done, like giving a subtle suggestion to think. But look at the response from the presidency. People rejected these beautiful ideas that you seem to have.
I will reference Obafemi Awolowo again. In 1983, when Obafemi Awolowo came back from his vacation, he addressed a press conference at the airport. It is usually called the War Press Conference. He articulated his position on Nigeria's economy with facts and figures, and also offered viable, what he called viable alternatives. And he said that if this path, we continued on that path, he told us where it was going to lead. And I will never forget what the Concord wrote. He said the prophet of doom was back. You know? So, when, you know, it's scary when you say the president is leading us down the road to Venezuela. You know? And you are throwing that around. You see, it is a sort of scaling up. You know, scaling up. It's transcending Oyo State. It's transcending the geopolitical zones. Scaling up to the, you know, you have to scale up for visibility. So that's scaling up. It is unfortunate that this administration of Bola Tinubu, they are not doing the needful in terms of coordinating their communication. It is shocking and embarrassing. But maybe, is it because that there is actually no
stronger position,
no plan,
or no plan? Okay, on ground,
or no clear-cut plan? But people are suggesting that they are doing. I think we actually said it, that they are doing trial and error.
Yeah, he said it.
So, I mean, a master plan
Should have been on ground.
The surprising thing remains the removal of subsidy and the margin of the two windows.
One of the suggestions Atiku said is that the removal of subsidy is a good thing, but it should have been done in phases, that not just removing it at once.
You see,
so that there should have been some things put in place to cushion the effect or the aftermath of the removal of the subsidy.
With the benefit of hindsight, you might actually, the withdrawal of subsidy has actually been gradual, because as the exchange rate adjusted, there, of course, you know, the price of PMS is adjusting itself. The only one grave error of judgment the president committed was that, like Senator Ladoja, the Otunoluba, the Oba Rashidi Ladoja, will say there must be provision before prohibition. Those two legs of withdrawal of subsidy and margin of the window of exchange should have gotten a third leg, to cushion, ameliorate, as you ordered margin of the two windows and the one they call the floating of the naira, and the removal of subsidy that produced instant shock waves. And I mean shock. You know what happened that day? PMS ended up before nightfall at 600 naira.
Definitely.
That was shock waves.
Almost immediately after the
Shock
announcement
waves.
was made.
I will never forget where I was. I was on the stairs here descending into this place. Shock waves. There was no provision for amelioration. That was a tragic oversight.
And that was the same thing Atiku said.
Well, you didn't have to come. We have been seeing it here. Tragic oversight. And what effort? We were here last week or fortnight ago when we were talking about removal of duty on some of it. How many days and weeks after now? No template. They told us, Minister of Finance and Customs, they don't have any template to work with yet. So, isn't it looking truly like there is no master plan?
All right, we have
An
so much.
office you sought after
For so long.
30
For so
years, he
long.
said.
For so long.
And you now go into that office. Was he thinking he was not going to win, or what?
Okay, talking about the master plan, we'll still talk about the review of the American presidential election too. I mean, because Americans will be going to the polls officially tomorrow to elect their new president for the next. They already started voting actually, but tomorrow, the 5th of November, is the D-Day. It's the D-Day for the election. So, well, we'll talk about. But before we go to America to talk about the presidential election coming up, there's still another political story. Fubara is in the news because we still have to go to the Dangote refinery issue too. But Fubara was at the Omega Power Ministry church yesterday, and he addressed the crisis rocking Rivers State. He said, let me put it in his word. He said, resource control is the real reason for the crisis in Rivers State. This is Simi Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, speaking yesterday.
States. More power for the defense of humanity in Rivers State. God will bless your people for your prayers, and we assure you we will not fail you. We will not fail you. There is a reason for all this crisis, and that reason is the control of the resources of Rivers State. Rivers State resources belong to you, and we will make sure that that resources is applied judiciously for the betterment of Rivers State. What you owe us is just one thing: continue to pray for us.
Simi Nalaye Fubara, the executive governor of Rivers State, talking there, saying that the major crisis, the major reason for the crisis rocking Rivers State today is the fact that somebody wants to lay claim to the control of the resources in Rivers State.
When I hear and see Fubara speak sometimes, the only conclusion I come to is that this is quite a depth of naivety. Power games we're talking about here. We're talking about power games. We're talking about power games are deadly games. And the only thing at stake is the control of the levers of power. And it is the levers of power that gives you control of the resources that are available. What is it talking about? Didn't you hear Bola Ahmed Tinubu? He said power is not served a la carte. Huh? You run, you gun for it, you snatch it, and you run with it. Because the man was, power was served him a la carte. Apart from the fact that power was served him a la carte, even when he was being hunted by AFCC, he was protected. So if he had, what contribution did he actually make? Apart from the fact that he probably signed his nomination form.
So what you're saying that he had eaten with the devil, so he should be ready to pay the consequences, to face the consequences.
Look.
Is that what you're saying in essence?
You know the man, you know that man, what do you call him? Wiki.
Nizam Wike chose him, yeah.
I don't think the man ever had any desire whatsoever for office. I don't think so.
Talking about Simi Fubara.
Did you hear him express any desire? The office of governor was practically foisted on him.
So that?
Two purposes.
Okay.
Balance the political equation.
And
make it look like, we are rotating,
But it is believed that most of these governors, when they are leaving, they want to put someone
That
in
is
power
the
there so
second-
that they can still have access to the
Three things.
funds.
Balance. You see, there is a window dressing.
Because I think he's referring to the funds there.
The
access
window-
to the funds coming to River
Well,
State.
I won't be calling it. I will just call it resources. It is even beyond
Money.
It's not way beyond money now. The man was picked to window dress and make it look like they are balancing. Okay, George will be governor. That's political balancing. But the underbelly is actually somebody you think you could remotely control. Anybody that thinks he will put somebody who has been a bureaucrat and civil servant for maybe 20 years and you think you can control him, you think bureaucrats are the ones manipulating the politicians? The politicians are not... Okay, since the time that former governors have been charged, how many bureaucrats were charged? Could they have... All governors do is approve. They don't sign checks. They only authorize approval. So why is it...
And not forgetting the fact that the present governor of River State, Simi Fubara, was the accountant
general of the state.
Accountant general under
A
Wike.
man that has been a bureaucrat.
The man that signed most of the checks.
A man that has been
that approved most of the
for 20
checks.
years, and you think you can manipulate him? Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy itself is a maze that you have to learn how to navigate.
Now let's talk about, because of our
It was
time
a
now. Let's talk
miscalculation.
about our time now.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. I mean, the battle, the political battle is really getting tensed now. The race seems to be very, very tight. I mean, for me, I didn't see Kamala Harris putting up this kind of energy, so much power. I mean, before when she was being nominated to be the Democrat candidate, people were saying that it would be a walkover for Donald Trump. But with the look of things, I mean, our speeches and everything, what do you make out of this? And eventually, if Kamala becomes the first vice president, female vice president, I mean, the first female president of the United States of America, what will be the implication of the result of this election on global economy?
I'm going to be brutally honest here. She's American, she's black, Indian, and female.
Half Indian, half Jamaican.
Yeah, I mean, that's black, that's Indian and American. And that's a beautiful combination for a first female president. Not Caucasian. You can, the possibilities in the United States, the possibilities. Jamaican, Indian, American by naturalization. That tells you it is the one they call the land of opportunities. Limitless opportunities. Become the president of the United States. Kamala Harris, I followed her political career. I'm going to be brutally frank. She's not one of the best, that can engage. But you see, Trump is such a bad fellow in engagements that he will always trail off, the subject of conversations and descend into the gutter.
To descend so low. I didn't want to use the word gutter before.
Believe me, that's
That's strong.
And then the claims, the dubious claims, the outright falsehood that is spreading all over the place.
Talking about Donald Trump. Yes.
I have a I call it dark hidden desire that Donald Trump should win. And let's see how much of damage he could do to the American state and institutions.
Now, let's listen to this from Kamala Harris.
And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next president of the United States. Now, the race is not yet over, and we need to finish strong. So for the next 2 days, we still have a lot of work to do, but here's the thing. We like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. Here's what everyone here knows. When you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. And we have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of politics driven by fear and division. We are done with that, and we are exhausted with it. And America is ready. America is ready for a fresh start, ready for a new way forward, where we see our fellow American not as an enemy, but as a neighbor. We are ready for a president who knows that the true measure of a leader is not based on who you beat down, it is based on who you lift up. And Michigan, you know me, I am not afraid of tough fights, evidently. For decades as a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state, I won fights against the big banks that ripped off homeowners. I won fights against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students. I won fights against predators who abused women, children, and seniors. I won fights. I won fights against the cartels that trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. And it is my pledge to you, if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
Kamala Harris there at her campaign yesterday.
You see, this election, Donald Trump has hijacked the Republican Party. 3 times, 3 straight consecutive times, the presidential candidate of the grand old party, the Republican Party. But talking straight and rounding it up, I think the American establishment, irrespective of party affiliation, they are united and desperate to stop Donald Trump. The white supremacists, there are a lot of them on his side. Make America Great Again, the MAGA movement. Does it still have enough numbers? You don't forget that it's not just a simple majority. You need electoral colleges.
Definitely.
Sufficient numbers. And those states, the battleground states. And the race is very, very tight. I
very
hope
tight.
it will not be a contentious election just like we had in 2000. Far worse, far more contentious. You know, that man in 2020 contested is still saying that election was rigged and is already declaring that there are plans to rig the elections. That is
He's already raising
that is
speculations.
unprecedented in the history of the United States.
All right, comrade.
1776.
Comrade, our time is fast spent, but definitely tomorrow morning, Dangote refinery issues and others issues will be
It is
our
not
priority.
going away.
It's not going away any soon. So thank you very much, Comrade AYODEJI Ajisophe, for being a part of the program today. I really enjoyed your robust analysis on the stories.